I will invite Cosmin Curticăpean, CEO iFactor, to talk about nurturing fintechs and how we can build and grow on it. Cosmin? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Razvan, I remember that you organizers wanted me to keep this in English or in Romanian? In English. Excellent. Okay, so hello, everybody. I would like to invite on the stage Miss Alina Ștefan from Salariu, Mrs. Magda Săndulescu, the president of the executive director of the Romanian Fintech Association, and we will have with us online Ms. Raluca Micu. She is representing the regulator today, which is of course NBR. Unfortunately, we don't have FCA, the Romanian capital markets regulator. But hopefully we'll manage to have them on a future event. So probably I should sit. I would sit between the ladies. That's always a good choice. I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. So we will today. Basically, we will start discussing what's the status of Romanian fintech scene. And I would like you to understand through fintech any kind of startup doing business in or building technology in the area of insurance, any kind of financial services, or even compliance or regulation. So in the startup slang, there would be fintech, insurtech, regtech, any of these verticals we are covering. And I would like to ask all of you ladies, what do you think is the status of fintech today? And what do you think, if you think that there is an improvement in the last 2 or 3 years in the maturity of the fintech startups on the Romanian market? Magda?
Well, I'm really glad to be here. My name is Magda Săndulescu. I am the Executive Director of Romanian Fintech Association. The simple presence of ours, I think it means very, very good news for the fintech market. Because if we were talking about 3-4 years ago about fintech in Romania, most probably we would use it like a buzzword. Now we are 20 companies, 22 more exactly, in the Romanian Fintech Association, pure fintech companies, because I have to say this specification, many of the companies use fintech word, but not all of them are fintech. And this is a trend that we really want to establish as a fintech definition, the ones that are really doing financial technology service, which is proprietary, and of course is based in Romania with a Romanian stakeholder. So the good news is that we are on rising. We are more. These two guys were actually at the beginnings. I mean, 3 years ago, I haven't been there in the 22 when they were forming the Romanian Fintech Association. We have other 2 fintech companies members in the audience, and I want to salute Adrian Chigi from Pago, and I want to salute also Nick Bălăceanu from Landrise. So we are even more here. Of course, the main enablers were actually the supporting partners of this event, because banks were the first one that were calling us. Now we are following them.
Well, what I'm actually interested, we know, and I'm glad that you mentioned the scale of the Romanian Fintech Association, but I would like to actually take the example of the last keynote and look to the customers. So I'm very much interested on how we actually look to the fintech scene in Romania from the perspective of the value proposition that we deliver to the customers, and how do we feel that we actually cover the market? Do we really become relevant for the financial intermediation? And the question for Alina and for Raluca is the same. What do you think about the fintech environment and the fintech ecosystem in Romania maturity level? Also from the perspective from Romanian fintechs, which are rising from the Romanian, with Romanian founders, and why not also fintechs which are coming from abroad, and they start opening the Romanian market as their target. Alina?
I think however you look at things, you have to start, as the presentation before us mentioned, with value creation towards the customer. And here, the bigger the problem, the bigger the solution, the faster you can grow locally and regionally. So I think if you look with both things in mind, from creating value for customers, building new behavior, and then solving that problem faster, easier, however you want to or plan to solve it, the healthiest you can grow. So I will speak from Salariu standpoint. Salariu is the first platform of salary in demand in Romania. What we plan to do is close the gap in between the days that an employee worked for a company and the moment when he or she reaches that pay. So in other words, kind of get paid as you worked. Which is a really easy problem to grasp. I think each and every single one of us can understand that it has major benefits to be able to access the money that you already worked for. And we can understand that in the Romanian ecosystem, most of the employees in Romania don't give out pay. So for instance, we know that we solve a stringent problem in Romania, and having a scenery where the pay is lower, so hence the bigger problem. So if we address that better, and if we reach our customer faster, and if we manage to have partners and also manage to speak to the corporations, so they see this benefit, so they nurture their employees better, our chance to grow is exponential, and that will translate also in a regional growth and potential globalization.
Thank you, Alina. Now it will basically I'm supposed to contribute to the panel, therefore I will decline the question towards the regulator, Mr. Raluca Micu, in another fashion. As you could see, Magda spoke about the fintechs in the association. Alina spoke about the value prop they deliver to the customers, which is great. And now I would like to see how the regulator actually looks into these small startups having big dreams, becoming the naughty children of the financial services, and how they want to actually challenge all these problems that they want to solve. And actually I want to put some context to the question this time. Like I think a few months ago we were happy with Magda and some other colleagues from the Fintech Association to be part of a working group on the committee of, I will say it in Romanian, Comitetul Național pentru Supraveghere Macroprudențială, under the Department of the Financial Stability of NBR. And we were supposed to work on a project that actually was materialized into a report for sustainable growth of the financial intermediation, especially in the field of the companies. So During this phase, MBR and some other participants, because there were many stakeholders from the Romanian financial services scene, they were requiring from us, from the startups, volumes, and they were saying, okay, how many customers are you solving? How many loans are you intermediating? What are the volumes? And of course, now, it's always it's a chicken and egg, because at the end of the day, the innovation is very difficult to actually touch the base of the real problems without having actually the support and be nurtured, as the panel it's called, by the environment, meaning also regulatory frame, or like, for example, big financial institutions like banks. So without having that, usually it's very, very difficult to really get to the customers. So now my question is to Raluca, how does she see the improvement of the way we approach the market? When I refer to we are referring to the startups in the financial services technology, so fintechs.
Thank you so much for the added content to the question, Cosmin. I also had in mind actually our latest collaboration because it was indeed something new, something that brought together not only traditional players like banks, but also fintechs to put input and feedback and provide feedback and real contribution to, let's say, work done by the regulators. And actually that work was materialized in concrete recommendation for the authorities, for the national authorities, also for NBR, but also for other authorities. So indeed, I can say that even this can be a very, let's say, concrete example how we see fintechs. Inviting fintechs to work with us, the regulator and other entities from the market, traditional player, say a very, very big, important thing about how regulators are aware of the fact that fintechs can or have the potential to actually bring added value and to solve real issues from the financial economy. So this is how I can say that we see the fintech ecosystem in Romania. And the other point is that from my expertise from payments division, I can say that we understand day by day fintechs even more, and we are aware that the potential that fintechs can bring into the financial and especially into the payments ecosystem. That's why I'm here today with you. That's how I'm actually talking, and unfortunately, sorry not being able to attend physically the event. But yeah, indeed, it was, I think, a long period. In the last 3 years, we started to know the fintech ecosystem, to understand. Once we launched the Fintech Innovation Hub at the NBR, we invite fintechs to be our partners in our working groups, in our events, in our discussion. We had bilateral discussion with fintech companies. We promote fintechs to our department from the NBR. So actually, the regulator, it's a very, very complex, let's say, organization. So we were focusing these 3 years to promote fintech potential towards other departments from NBR. So.
1 million, 2 million, 10 million. Thank you, Raluca. I would like you to continue now, and actually the next question will go directly to you, and because you are in the department of IT security and structures in the NBR, in the payments department. Basically, I'm interested to see what do you think are the technologies that are mostly shaping the future of the fintech, as you can currently see them, or what you have seen in the last 2 or 3 years, and especially through the eyes of this fintech hub, or your connection with or encountering fintechs in different acceleration programs or hackathons or?
So in the FinTech Innovation Hub, we receive around 70 applications right now in this 3 year of activity. The majority of the technology are actually going to the open banking or open finance area. So this is the, let's say, the big concentration of the fintech into the Romanian landscape, and also what we have in the hub, and also in line with our competencies, because of course some of the, let's say, fintechs might be directed to other authorities, for example, in the insurtech hub or the hub operated by the financial supervisory financial authority. The other technologies are, let's say, focusing on solving some traditional ways of or methods which are used by banks, by traditional players to interact with clients. And here I'm not referring only to, let's say, innovative payment method, but we saw also that we have initiatives in related to AI technology, using AI in finance, and I am personally very, very big promoter of this technology and the potential for using this technology into the financial system. But still, it's too early to say that we have much concrete example into this direction. But I will be happy to have this in our market. So this is we saw that indeed it's interest also to have some solution based on blockchain to actually to assess a little bit how this technology can be used in payments. We have solutions on, let's say, using biometrics to pay for payments and for other type of services. But it is also some from the technical service provider area. So it's not something that will need to be regulated. It's totally different from the open banking area where indeed the entities have to be regulated. So not so many different solutions into the Romanian market, but still, I think that the number of the applications says something. Not all of them, we have to be aware that not all of them are a very mature business model, but I can say that around 20 of the application had bilateral discussion with us in order to support them in developing their ideas and actually to penetrate the market. So this is how I can say that I'm seeing the fintechs at this moment.
Okay, thank you. Alina, what kind of technologies are you using to in Salarium product in order to better service the employees of the companies in this country?
We use a few elements of technology, and I think the KYC is one of the gateways in order to make sure that the people that we're helping out are actually employees of the company, because we have to protect also the company and employees.
And what kind of innovative technologies you use for the KYC process? So in the product itself, what kind of I don't know, like blockchain, it's cool, or AI?
No, we actually...
Everybody uses AI these days, so you're not using AI?
We don't use AI right now, because for us at the beginning, we have to also kind of take a step back, and we're talking about nurturing fintechs, and right now is the building block, I think, and I think Magda can validate that. This is the initial nurturing process of all fintechs. So I'm sure that whatever we have as technology now will not be the technology that we're going to grow or scale up with, because it's a process, right? So it's wonderful that we have a really good setup to grow, but this is just the beginning. For us, it's very important to be able to have this product, but one of the key elements of our system is security. So we have to make sure that, we work with salaries, we work with employee salaries, and we work as a service provider to companies. So having secured systems and being able to integrate in other systems like payroll, we integrate our solution with most of the payroll players in Romania. That gives us a great responsibility to all the stakeholders involved. So for us, much of our technology is guided towards that, to facilitating these processes and also making them safe. Another thing that we have to take into account is the maturity levels of the fintechs in Romania, and given that we were some of the oldest fintechs are 3 years old. It's just at the beginning. So we're still, proving our products and our technology and our know-how. And it's wonderful that we have an ecosystem and we have, regulators and facilitators towards this. And we have the openness of, in our case, companies or banks. And it's a good place where we can start and grow. And it will be wonderful that right now we're 22 companies in fintechs in the Romanian Association, but it would be great for us to grow, to double, to triple, to exponentially grow that number, because the more value is created in the market, the better it is for each and every single one of us. The faster we grow our technology, the more challenges we have, the competition comes along, and the whole ecosystem benefits out of it.
Thank you. Magda, you are very nicely organizing fintech minds.
Meetups.
Fintech meetup, yeah, actually some meetups for fintechs, and we are now at the, how many edition?
11th.
11th. What did you see? What are these strange fintechs talking about as technology? What is something that you could draw a line and say this is a common sense technology and approach against the market from this company?
What I personally noticed over the time, Fintech Minds Meetup, as introduced by Cosmin Curticăpean, is actually our community meeting, where we are offering a virtual stage, to all our members and supporting partners to present their solutions as a brief description. But before that, of course, you just had the information to look for their sites, to see what they are doing, and so on and so forth. And not actually seeing the founder behind the company. Because no matter the industry, sorry for that, no matter the type of the business that we are creating or you are creating, the founder and the idea behind them, it is really mattering. And once you are knowing them, you can value more on the idea, or you can devalue more at the same time. So what I can say in a briefly nutshell answer is common sense to all the founders of the companies that are members to our FinTech Association. And second of it, desire to add value, because they sensitively spotted, even from the beginning, being some of them serial entrepreneurs, that if they don't have an idea where they can materialize, it doesn't worth it even not to study.
Magda, Raluca, you have both worked and are working in very large organizations. You have worked in banks. What would be, in a sentence, the difference between the fintech founders and, I don't know, senior management bankers?
Well, I can speak it from my own perspective, is that it really depends on the person. I personally, as myself, I am as entrepreneurial that I have been when I was having a management position in my bank. And I was really, really keen about that. And I was really having teams that were even more younger. Some of my ex-colleagues are actually in the hall here, and they can confirm that I always choose team members which were younger than mine in order to prove it.
So is there any difference or none?
From my point of view, there is not a difference, but it really depends from people to people.
So the answer is no difference.
Yeah.
Raluca?
I will say that usually bankers are thinking a lot of risks. You know, they will be happy to innovate. They would like to do it, but they put the risk at the first level. So, but it's still understandable to do so, because in this financial ecosystem, we have very, very strict rules for the entities. And that's why maybe it's a skill that it has to be when we talk about bankers. And here, when we talk about fintechs, usually the board members are more agile, are IT guys or with this type of skill, and very comfortable to actually innovate and to act in a non-regulated ecosystem.
Yeah.
Can I give a counter back? I have to say that even more in the fintech environment, they are more, let's say, risk mind thinking, because they are risking their own money. First of all, they are serial entrepreneurs. Second of it, I am really, really very fond of the founders that I have made, that they are thinking even from an early stage regarding the reputational risk, which actually is a skill that is mainly, until 2 or 3 years ago, found at the bankers, indeed. But these guys, which are risking their money and their shareholders' money, they are even more keen about that. Of course, that they are using this flexibility of approaching the technology, of choosing certain types of technology to develop their ideas. Yes, indeed. And maybe in a bank, as our previous speaker was saying, that we needed a project and to approve it by a board and so on and so forth. But this is types of, let's say, of the way they are taking decisions, but not in terms of the skills.
Well, in all honesty, we are mostly burning investors' money, so it's not necessarily our own money, you know. Anyhow, how many of you have heard of Bunk? We have some technology people here, fintechs in the room that have heard of Bunk. It's a competitor of Revolut. How many of you have heard of Revolut? Everybody. Anyhow, Bunk is a competitor from Holland, and what I want to tell you about them is that, and about the technologies the fintechs use today, is that they are using artificial intelligence, machine learning technology for assessing anti-money laundering processes. And the regulator, the Dutch Authority of Financial Markets, they have forbidden for this tool to be used, but today they won in court of law against the Dutch regulator. So go Bunk and go AI, which leads me to the next question. Do guys think that we are going through technology, or let's say this cool technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning winter? I mean, I'm putting this into the context. I'm going to the World Summit AI conference for the last many years, and in 2019 I have been last time. This year was actually the last time. Previously it was 2019, and I could feel like only a quarter of presence there, not so many speakers, not so good speakers, and I was thinking that maybe AI is not any longer cool. Maybe we go into a winter of. Do any of you have any understanding of or feeling about? I mean, Raluca, can you see fintechs that were previously talking a lot about machine learning and AI, and they are not any longer engaging so much with these technologies into their products?
No, actually, I don't know if a Romanian specific situation, but I'm not seeing this for our fintechs. Actually, the fintechs which are into direct relation with us. So actually, I'm seeing that in Romania, it's only the beginning of the AI. And actually, in the last years, the regulator try to understand better how this technology could improve KYC or credit scoring or this type of profiling, which are, let's say, right now based on traditional tools. Yeah, so I'm not seeing like the winter it's coming for AI.
Okay.
From my point
Maybe
of
it
view.
was just
yeah, but very, very short in this, because I have a very cool thing afterwards with the regulators and so on and so forth. So.
Maybe it was just a bad organization on the event side, you know, maybe we were overthinking. I think AI is going to be here to stay and is going to determine everything we do. I think it's rather, if I have a question, is one of morality or ethics behind, and we're still trying to solve that part of that technology. But I think it's such a disruptive technology that is here to stay in many aspects of our lives.
I'm sharing the same opinion. I even saw a Romanian founder which moved to Frankfurt using the AI in health tech. The company is called Reflex and is the biggest one and the only one authorized by the Ministry of German Health. So look at them. The founder is an ex-fighter, in sports, Camil Moldoveanu. Look for that. Maybe we'll see it also in insurtech. Applied here, we shall see.
The next question that I want to ask you is if you think that I will put again a little bit of context. Today, or in the last 2 years, UK financial authority as a regulator initiated 171 electronic money and payment initiation licenses. Lithuania, which is smaller than Romania, has initiated 47. I'm the founder of iFactor, and we are now under a process of applying for such a license to the NBR in Romania, and we've learned that actually we will be the fourth in the history of the fourth license that we apply in the history of the National Bank of Romania. Of course, the first one was a telecom company that no longer has the license. The other one, another telecom company that moved towards a banking license, I guess. Am I right, Raluca? And then TwistPay was bought by a company run from Cluj. Maybe you heard of them. So now that I settled the basis of the question is that we don't know this. We have this dilemma of chicken and egg. Is it the market too small, and that's why the regulators are not actually looking into, and NBR is looking a little bit reluctant and risk-averse against the way we propose these innovative business models and these technologies that we want to revolutionize and start building up a value proposition to the Romanian financial intermediation? Or is it the fact that the mentality is still we are witnessing still a mentality in which the financial institutions, bankers and regulators, they are not really seeing and understanding the way innovation can actually spring financial intermediation. So this is an open question for any of you. How do you think, and what can be done actually to accelerate the regulatory processes from these two perspectives? I don't know, we need to wait for the market to become, to grow, and then we will become relevant, and then will be a systemic risk, and then regulators will say, oh wow, we need to look into these strange organizations. Or we should change mentality of the people and try to create some shortcuts between departments and between I don't know, silos of these organizations in such fashion that will accelerate the. I apologize, Raluca. You know that I'm very blunt with referring to these departments. I hope I'm not offending anyone, but this is the truth, and it has to be said. So I want your opinion on it, and then. And this actually it has to last for not more than for 1 or 2 minutes, and then I would like to propose something to you guys. So please, Raluca. Yeah.
I will open the floor regarding this question. E-money license, because actually you are referring to e-money license. I think the
payment institution. So both of them, yeah.
It's totally different, because the example you put it, you gave before are actually money license. So it's totally different, because the money license means a totally different business model than the payment institution one. And actually the issue with the Romanian market is that we didn't have companies promoting or promoting the idea to solve a problem and to present actually products with added value, but based on e-money. That's why we don't have e-money institution in our market. So this is actually the issue. It's not about that it's I know something that it's hard to touch. No, it's that if you look at the business model of the licensed institution, you will see that they are actually providing more payment services than e-money services, because this TwistPay is actually on acquiring side offering payment services. Vodafone had a license, but the model wasn't actually adopted by the market. That's why they're closed. And when we look at the other company in the Romanian market, they are actually providing more payment services than e-money services. So if the innovative of e-money is actually to promote services based on e-money and to solve a real problem of the market. We didn't see this. We hope to, and we have right now into the licensing process some entities, even you, iFactor, with real added value and value proposition for their solution. So this is totally different. Coming back to the other aspect of the question about how improving actually the licensing process to be more quicker, I don't know, and actually being in line with the expectation of the fintech agile, and you expect the regulator to look into the documents and to receive until tomorrow an answer or some comment. Indeed, it's not working like this. So we are into the licensing process, starting PSD2, starting open banking from the security point of view. We encourage a lot fintechs to actually approach NBR in pre-consultation phase, because it's very useful also for us to understand the business model and actually to discuss and to make some observation in order to be able to prepare, let's say, well-documented application for the licensing process, because the licensing process is not a friendly one. I usually saying this. It's not about how many pages you put into the licensing application. It's about how actually you describe the business model, taking into consideration the legal framework. So this is something that indeed is very difficult. It's not easy to do it. It's not friendly at all. You need some guide helping you. This implies also some cost. It's not so nice to do so. But still, I think that the dialogue between the regulator and fintechs could improve this process and make fintechs understand better the expectation of the regulator. We will publish also some expectation from the regulator in order to have some lines to guide into before applying for a license. But still,
so
this is something.
I apologize for interrupting. So basically, just in the translation for everybody in the room, a nightmare. So that's the right question. So in order to avoid this nightmare and maybe to improve this nightmare towards not necessarily a sweet dream, or I want to make a suggestion in closing this panel. Raluca, Magda, I'm sorry that ASF is not represented here. What about if we try to do a platform under the facilitation of the Romanian Fintech Association, in which we should make with ASF, maybe the Ministry of Finance and BNR, regular meetings, like quarterly, in order to do two main things. One, to see what are the bottlenecks, and to try to set up objectives in order to accelerate these processes. Do you think it's doable?
As Raluca was mentioning, and this is what I really want to be noticed here, is that any pre-consultation, even regulated on a monthly basis or a quarterly, is strongly wanted from both parts. If it is even more done under such a structure, I think that both banks, but also fintechs, are more and more encouraged to face the national bank. Look at Raluca. She is a very, very friendly person. So no one there is something like taking your head there because you want to apply for a certain license or for a certain regulation. But speaking before, I think that helps both of the parts.
My proposal actually doesn't involve banks, and of course we don't have time any longer to say why.
Why? Because I want them to be involved.
Yeah, no. We also want them to be involved.
Yeah, but you want them to be involved, but in my opinion, the problem is the legacies, and banks bring legacies in the table. And we have already a lot of experience into this. It's not that they would not give value to the project, but in my opinion, the thing that I'm proposing is regulators and fintechs. And then further on, of course, the sandbox and all the results of the report that I previously mentioned, they can be integrated, including banks, with all the other stakeholders. So, Raluca, what do you think? Because Răzvan, it's already looking bad
red.
To me. So.
It's looking red.
Yeah.
You are expecting the cocktail. I want to keep you longer here with me. So, yeah, from my point of view, we support this idea. So please bring this proposal to the regulator and try to have some discussion and a permanent dialogue on this issue with concrete questions from fintechs on the table, in order to understand exactly what you said, the bottleneck or the issues, and we will be more than happy to contribute to these problems, to solving these problems.
Deal done. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies. It was a pleasure to have you in the panel. And I will give the microphone to Răzvan.